are well. My name is Clarissa. I work at Revivewell Training Studio, and this is Movewell Mobility. I'm really excited for this evening's class. We are going to cover basically my favorite stretches ever. As a trainer, I see a lot of people having sort of like similar issues in their body just because we have similar ways of movement in life and these days sitting around at home more. So I figured I'd put together sort of a playlist of my all-time favorite stretches that address a lot of common issues in the low back, in the shoulders, in the hips. And so I'm excited to take you through it. We will do it will be a little bit more like disjointed than some sessions that I do. So just meaning we will sort of like move from one movement to the next and they won't necessarily like flow super fancy. So this is definitely not your average flow class, but we will get some great stretches in, a little bit of core work, should feel amazing. I'm looking forward to it. So without further ado, grab yourself a water and a mat. That's really all you should need. We're going to start on the mat in a seated position. Let's do this. All right, taking a seat. I'm going to start with a little water. Water is great for you. Okay, so I do want to get started and I do want to have fun today with you, but I find it so incredibly helpful for myself and for a lot of clients that I've worked with if we can really sort of join the mind and body experience. And as cliche as that sounds, if we can do just a little bit of breathing together, I promise you're going to have a more effective session of stretching, both from a physical aspect, but also just from a mental, as far as not having so much stress. A lot of that stress and a lot of like distractedness and anxiety actually inflates negative feelings in the body, like pain and different issues like that. So in order to get the most out of our session, we are going to do just a light, brief little breathing and meditation to get us started, to get us in the zone, and to get us to focus. So in a nice comfortable seat, let your hands just rest in your lap however you like. Doesn't have to be anything too fancy. Let those eyes close. Fill your belly, relax your tummy, take a nice deep in through your nose. Relax your shoulders and breathe out. Fill your belly, breathe in through the nose. And release out through the nose as well. We'll be here for several more breaths just like this. Just smooth, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep breathing smoothly. Feeling the breaths take a little longer. And getting relaxed in your face and shoulders. Keep breathing, but become more aware of your posture and how you're sitting. Just take note, where do you feel the weight and the pressure? Breathing in and out smoothly through the nose. Maybe leaning a little differently to center your balance. Lightening and lifting slightly through your posture. Relaxed gaze, still closed eyes. Still taking slow, deep breaths. And just taking a second to center your attention, your thoughts. If there's something that's distracting your mind, see if you can file it away for now. side to side. And just remind yourself why you're here, and what you're hoping to get out of this session. And focusing on that, on your why. Focusing on why you're here. Go ahead and gently let the eyes open and let the shoulders lift towards your ears as you take a nice deep breath in. Lift nice and tall through your posture. Open your mouth and breathe out. Relax those shoulders. Let's do it again. Inhale, lift your posture. Breathe through the nose. Lift your shoulders. Open the mouth. Breathe out. Drop the shoulders. Great. Okay, I hope you're feeling good. Keep those smooth, deep breaths flowing as best you can through today's movements. Let's start with a little stretching. We're going to take the arms overhead and interlace the fingers. And we're just going to stretch nice and tall and just kind of sway just a little side to side, just like you're taking a good morning stretch. Just feeling your sides open. Pull those hands back behind you. Open up your chest. Just kind of shifting side to side. Oh. Reach the fingertips, unlacing the fingers. One more deep breath. And relax, hands down by your sides. Okay, let's take some side stretches. So a lot of my clients that I see and that I work with regularly have issues in their low back and in their hips because they tend to be tight around the sides. So the space that is just above your hip bones and just before your rib cage. So we're going to stretch that out a little bit. Left hand next to you, right hand up and over. Reach long through that right side. That right hip stays heavy. Reach that right hand up and over. Create length through that side body. And we're going to be here for just a little bit. Today will be a little bit more stretchy than a lot of my classes. A lot of times I keep them a little bit more quickly moving, but I think a lot of people really need to take more time to do their stretches regularly and don't always do them. So that's what we get to do today. You're welcome. Glad you made it with me today. From this position, I just want you to take a micro little angular change. You're going to angle your chest face down and just feel the stretch slightly shift more into your back, your low side back. Chest slightly down, reaching out away from you, still heavy through the right knee and right hip. Take 3 more deep breaths. And we'll carefully take it to the other side. Same exact thing on the other side. Right hand next to you, left hand right up and over, creating a long line from that left hip out the left fingertips. And staying in touch with those long, smooth breaths. Last deep breath on this side. And we angle that chest face down, reach out away from you. Feel the stretch more in the low back than the true side. One more deep breath here. And release, come out of it. Sit up tall and comfortably. Let's just loosen up the shoulders a little bit. So big shoulder circles, nothing too fancy. Another common issue, people having frozen shoulder blades or having issues in their upper back because their shoulder blades are not working properly. So we just want to loosen up those muscles in the upper back. Make sure that we can feel the shoulder blades moving, both of them, around the back, squeezing together. Go ahead and switch directions. And release. Good. So for many of you, being cross-legged is not not the most comfortable thing. Let's give that a little break. Stretch the legs straight out in front of you. We're just gonna do a little forward fold, get the hamstrings to release. Everybody knows tight hamstrings cause lots of back and different pains and issues, so we definitely wanna get those hamstrings nice and loosened up today. So to start, hands are gonna go next to you, and I just want you to reach your belly button forward and alternate bending and extending one knee at a time. Just feeling them start to open up. Mine aren't too bad today, so I'll be able to go into some of these stretches fairly deeply. If you're feeling really tight today, definitely don't feel like you need to be at exactly the same position as me. You want to be finding positions that feel like they're stretching out the areas that I'm cueing you to feel, not necessarily forming the exact same shape that I'm forming. All of our bodies are different, so we might all have to make micro angular adjustments to feel the stretches appropriately for our individual bodies. From here, we are gonna pull the toes back toward us as best we can, so we really get those calves to also stretch out. Do your best to reach arms as far forward as you can. Just pull yourself into a forward fold gently. I'm gonna pull onto my toes. You may not be ready to reach that far yet, that's okay. Definitely practice dropping the chin to the chest, and give me 5 smooth breaths. Each exhale, feel yourself release a little bit more. And we're going to carefully come out of that forward fold and onto hands and knees. Love me some cat-cows, so good for our spines. Let's breathe and take a few classic cat-cows. Drop your belly, look up, take a deep breath in. And round your belly, look towards your belly button, breathe out. Keep flowing through your spine. Lifting and breathing in. Rounding and breathing out. Just trying to feel the muscles all along our back stretching. Really good way to create movement to breath. So like meeting the movements and the breathing to the same pace, which again will help you get more out of the stretches. And we're going to pause in a flat back. So hands and knees position. We're going to work on a little bit of balance and a little bit of glute work. Step the right leg back behind you and the left hand out in front of you. So opposite arm and leg. I want the left hand out of sight. Right foot just barely off the floor. Keep your core engaged and just hold. Really lift strong through this position. It's easy to get kind of saggy and lazy, but I want you to lift strong, core tight, and just practice that core engagement and balance. Maybe feeling your right glute cheek squeeze a little bit. Keep that left hand up. It shouldn't be visible to you. Take one more breath, reaching in opposite direction. And gently switch it out to the other side. Left leg out, right arm out. Lift and hold. Breathe smooth. Core engages. I find this one to be really beneficial for all the posture muscles that people tend to have a hard time with. It's not too challenging of an exercise, but it's one of those that has big dividends. Good payoff. And we'll release the hand and knee. Cool. We're going to step the right leg back one more time, and this time just do a little booty work. Having better strength and control in your glutes and your pelvis is so great for minimizing low back pain. So we are going to just tap the right toes up and down off the floor without moving the abs. So keep your core really still. Don't let your back arch while you lift and lower. Those right toes just barely off the floor. Let's go for 10 more. Little tiny movements. Starting to feel that core heat up, getting a little warmer everywhere. 2 more. And switch. Good. Right leg in, left leg out. Core tight. Just start those taps. I'm definitely feeling my booty. Hope that you enjoy, you're welcome to lift the left knee into the chest. That can deepen that stretch and feel really great. Slow breaths. Give me 3 more. And set the left knee down if it's up already. Swap out the legs. Left leg steps back to calf stretch. So ankle mobility is actually something that a lot of my clients have problems with, and it's not something that we think about a lot, but it can cause a lot of leg and feet and thus posture issues. So good ankle and calf flexibility is actually really important. And release, hands and knees. Cool, we are gonna step the right leg, so back to the other leg, back behind, and then over to the left side. We're gonna get a little light outer hip stretch out of this. Look over your left shoulder at that heel, creating a C curve in your spine. Just 3 smooth breaths. Reach out the back heel. And bring that right knee in, swap it out, left leg back, and over to the right side, looking over the right shoulder. Reach that, what ankle is that back there? I'm such a pretzel, I don't even know. Reach that ankle out behind you. Last deep breath. And bring it back into hands and knees. Give me 3 more cat-cows to re-lengthen out the spine. Lift, chest, drop belly, inhale, exhale, round. Great. Next, we're gonna lay flat out on the belly, lying on your stomach. We're gonna reach the hands back down by our sides and work on engaging the lats a little bit. So this is a muscle underneath your shoulder blades that we tend not to use very well, and thus we get a lot of neck tension. So in order to help us release the postures that cause that neck tension, we'll engage those lats. So hands down by your sides. We're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades together behind us, then lift the head and shoulders up off the floor and reach the hands down towards the feet, squeezing. Let's pair this with the breathing. So you're gonna exhale to set your face on the floor. Inhale to lift and squeeze. Reach those hands down. Take several more rounds. This is not about lifting the chest super high. This is about squeezing those shoulder blades and reaching the hands. Give me 2 more. And release. Set the hands underneath of your shoulders, bending your elbows, slide the hips back to heels, child's pose. Take 3 smooth breaths to get that rhythm back. And we'll give those lats just a little bit of a stretch out. So we're gonna walk both the hands over to the right side about 6 inches and reach the left hand extra away from you so you stretch out that left side under the armpit. And bring the arms back to center. Just get that spine nice and long. Take a deep breath. And walk the hands over to the right. And bring the hands back into center. Last deep breath in the middle. Walk your hands backwards towards your knees. And we're going to roll up to a standing position at the back of the mat in forward fold. So let the head hang heavy. Bend the knees. Relax the upper back. Let the neck and shoulders go. Relax your face.
Take 3 more slow breaths here. Bend the knees, draw your core in, and roll yourself up to stand slowly. Take your time.
All right, let's get into those hips, shall we? So we're going to start with the left foot forward, and we're going to come into a lunge position. So both knees around 90-degree angle, and we'll just go ahead and set the back knee down all the way on the floor. We'll take a few moments to open up both hips. So once we're in position, we're going to take the hands down to the floor and then separate the knee, this knee and this foot apart from each other as best we can. So I'm going to wiggle this knee back, pull this foot forward, and start to really feel the stretch through this right hip. I'm going to lift the chest and feel dropped through this right hip, bringing my hands up to the front knee and really trying to feel this part of my leg and hip stretching out. This stretch for the hip flexors is one of the most valuable stretches that I could give just about anyone, especially for low back issues. So do this stretch often. It won't hurt you to do this stretch frequently, I'll say that. So just feel it down the front of the leg, drop the shoulders, take a few more deep breaths. As I've taken a few breaths on my exhales, I'm feeling just a little bit more release here. My body's just giving me another little inch of movement. And we'll take the hands back down to the floor and gently straighten out this front leg, coming into hamstring stretch. So again, I want you to lift these toes, so we're increasing the stretch on the calf as well. I want you to try to send your tailbone back, which is pretty difficult in this position, and try to reach your chest forward. Another amazing stretch that you almost can't do too often. Feel the heel dragging into the floor and pulling back towards you. You're not actually going to move it, but feel that sort of tension, drawing the heel back, reaching this left hip back, open chest, about 3 to 5 more smooth breaths. And we'll soften up that left knee and bend into it. Next, probably one of my very favorite stretches of all time. It always feels amazing no matter how often I do it. Step the left leg out to the outer edge of the mat, lizard lunge. We're going to bend slowly and gently into the elbows and just work our way down, lowering the belly button, lowering the chest. Keep smooth breathing. This might be pretty tight for you, so take your time with it. Let your body stretch into it. Don't put too much pressure or your muscles will literally seize and keep you from releasing into that stretch. So just go slow, keep breathing. And we're going to lift the hips and sweep the left leg back to hands and knees and push ourselves back to forward fold at the back of the mat. So standing, but releasing the shoulders, head, and upper back. Drop the head completely. Take 3 deep breaths. Draw your abs in, roll yourself up to stand. Relax the shoulders back and down. And we'll take it on the other side. Step the right leg forward into your lunge position. Bend both knees until the back knee touches the floor. Wiggle them apart from each other. Set the hands down on the floor. See if you can get a little bit more space. Foot forward, knee backward. Lift the chest. Heavy through the left hip. Hands come up to the front knee. Drop the shoulders. Feel the stretch through this hip. And breathe. Release, hands to the floor, straightening out your right leg, lift those toes, feel that hamstring stretch, lift the chest. Take 5 deep breaths. Trying to drag the heel towards you, reaching that right hip bone back. Let's take one more deep breath. Love that stretch, feels so good. Bend into your right knee, bend that knee, take it out to the outside edge, lizard lunge. Take your time, dropping your belly button and your chest towards the floor a little bit lower. We're going to go through each of those stretches one more time, but make them a little bit deeper this time. So we'll sweep the right foot back, walk the hands back to the knees, tuck the toes, forward fold at the back of your mat. Take 5 deep breaths, relax your upper body, bend your knees a little bit so the stretch is more in your back than it is in your legs. So you might get a little bit of stretch back here, but we're really trying to release your back muscles. Let them go. Roll yourself upright. Inhale, breath. Exhale, shoulders back and down. Left leg reaches forward into lunge. We're going to keep the back knee off the floor this time. So finding that high lunge. We do want to feel the stretch through the right hip flexor, so get kind of low in that lunge. You're welcome to keep the hands on this front thigh, or if you'd like to work your core just a little bit more, raise the arms up overhead, high lunge. As long as you're feeling some stretch through that right thigh, and you might feel a little heat and work elsewhere, but we're trying to feel the stretch through the right thigh. You're welcome to put that knee back down if you want, but I encourage you to try to challenge yourself just a little bit with this one, because heat can loosen up those muscles as well. And we're going to straighten out the legs. And then we're going to sort of double dip on the next stretch. So we're going to bring the back foot in a little closer. We're going to get the hamstring, but also the chest. So another common tight area where people have posture issues. Clasp the fingers behind the low back, roll the shoulders back and down to open and stretch the chest out. Let yourself fall forward over that front leg, but we want to keep the chest open and lifted. This will harness the stretch in that chest and that hamstring. Open chest, belly button low, back flat. Take 4 more deep breaths here. Release the hands to the floor and let your upper body round so your face is close to your shin. Just relax into that leg stretch. Should feel it up and down this left hamstring and leg. Slow, deep exhales. And we're going to adjust into a low lunge. So bend the left knee and wiggle the back foot back a bit. So you're in a lunged position. We'll take our runner's lunge, left foot out to the out edge, and lower the chest. We're gonna try to keep the back knee up off the floor, but possibly this time getting down to the forearms, which does take a bit of strength and flexibility. So good though, if you can get there. Careful not to put too much pressure on yourself. If your body isn't ready, don't force it. Breathe deep. Last deep breath. Come up to your hands, and now we can set that back knee down. We're gonna add on one new stretch here. We're gonna take the left hand nice and high and take a little twist. So left hand is gonna wrap back behind and bind onto the low hip. Love this stretch. It's such a good twist through your upper back. We're feeling stretch through this chest, maybe a little bit in this outer hip, all the right places. Take 5 more deep breaths here. Release the left hand, sweep the left leg back, take a standing forward fold at the back of your mat. Three deep breaths here. Roll up to stand. And step the right leg forward to your lunge position. Find that lunge, engage your core. Option to lift your arms overhead and feel the stretch through the left leg, left hip flexor, left thigh. Open chest, dropped shoulders. And getting ready for our hamstring stretch. We're gonna bring the back foot in, straighten both legs, interlace the hands behind the low back, open chest, tip at the hips, belly button low towards the front thigh, pause, keeping the hips square. And release the hands to the floor. Let the head drop and the upper back round. And we're gonna wiggle the 2 feet apart so we're in our low lunge. So bend the right knee, wiggle the back foot back a little deeper. Taking our runner's lunge, right foot out to the outer edge. Getting low with that left hip, bending the elbows a little bit. And maybe taking it down to the forearms. 5 more breaths in runner's lunge. Feels like my body doesn't really want to be here. I'm gonna stay on my hands today. You might be there with me. You might be down low. Just feels like more than I'm ready for right now. Last deep breath. And the back knee down. And we're gonna reach the right arm towards the sky. Big breath in, reach, open. And exhale, bind to that low back. Roll the right shoulder open. Look towards the sky. Take 4 more deep breaths. Twisting that upper back open, keeping your belly drawn in. A little bit heavy through that left hip. Strong through the left shoulder. Last breath. Release the right hand and we're going to take one last forward fold. Love me some forward fold. Right leg back. Tuck the toes. Forward fold last time. Take some deep breaths. Enjoy it.
going to take one more standing stretch before we head down to our butt, to the mat. We're going to take the hands to shins to create a half lift. So we're looking for a flat back here. The outer hips and the IT bands tend to be a really common area of pain in the knees and in the low back for people. So that's where we're headed next. We're going to bend the left knee, set the left hand down on the floor, and reach the right hand to the sky. You should feel really long and lifted through this outer hip, all the way up through the fingertips. Reach and open up that chest. Take some deep breaths here. Keep your core in to help support your back. And let's swap it out. Set the right hand on the floor, bend the right knee, reach the left hand towards the sky, open chest, breathe. And release. Great. We are going to set both knees down, come back to all fours, hands and knees. We're going to take one more chest and back stretch, puppy pose. Love this pose. It is fairly intense on the shoulders, so hopefully we are ready for it. We're going to try to stick the tailbone out away and keep that booty lifted in the sky. And then walk the hands away pretty wide. Keep the hands out towards the outer edges of the mat and lower your chest towards the floor. See if you can get your chin to the mat without too much discomfort. If that's too tight, just drop your forehead to the floor. Breathe smooth. Be careful. And carefully release out of this pose. Let's take a few cat-cows, lengthening out those muscles in both directions. Lift the chest, inhale, cow. Exhale, round cat. 2 more times. And we are going to turn over. Let's take a twist. We're going to take a gentle twist on our back. So good for low back, so good for the fronts of the shoulders. We're going to head to our back and just briefly allow the spine and all the muscles along the spine to get used to the floor. Just letting ourselves unwind for a minute. I know it hasn't been a super challenging practice, but we've still been holding our posture in place. So we want to signal to those back muscles, you can let go now. Let's pull the knees into the armpits and just lengthen out those back muscles a little bit more. One deep breath here. We're going to roll over to our right side in that tucked up ball, right side down, hands out in front of you, and then we'll open into our twist. We're going to take the left hand open, all the way to the floor behind, and once we're a little heavier here, you've got options. So a couple things you might enjoy trying. I'm sure some of you are familiar with twists and have your own favorites, and you're welcome to take those now. Here's some options that I like. Holding and anchoring this thigh down can help you sort of release this arm a little heavier without feeling like the knees are going to pull off the ground. So just add a little leverage, a little pressure there. If you're able to open up that chest easily and drop the left shoulder on the floor, try bending the arm at 90 degrees and then opening. You'll get a deeper chest and front of the shoulder stretch. Another option, again, if those options feel easy, then you can progress. If not, if they're still kind of challenging and you feel the stretch, hang out right where you are and enjoy. If you want a little bit more, extending this top leg and grabbing this big toe, I was going to say thumb, your thumb toe, your big thumb toe, can get a nice stretch out that IT band, which a lot of us need as well. So just some options there for your twist. Trying to get both shoulders heavy towards the floor. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. And drawing that left hand down low towards the hip, bringing yourself onto your back. Feel those spinal muscles that have been holding you in that twist lengthen back out equally before we head to the other side. Let's roll over onto the left side, left hip down, knees tucked in, and right arm reaching up and across. This side will probably feel different. You might be more open, you might be tighter. Totally fine. Just find out where you're at first and then go through some of your potential options. So like my right shoulder is getting down fairly easily on this side. It didn't on the other side, by the way. But on this side it's pretty good. So I'm going to try to come back into that twist with that 90-degree angle in my elbow, which is going to make it just a little bit more. You can see I can't quite get to the floor. Just a little deeper stretch on those pecs, on that chest. And I don't have room to extend my leg because of this wall, but you are welcome to try to extend this right leg out. Give me 3 more deep exhales and just feel your body melt into the twist. We're going to bring that right hand back around and roll onto our back one last time. I've got one last stretch for us before we wrap things up. Take your time rolling up slowly to a seat. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Well zenned out until that. Sorry. Okay, cross-legged or whatever's comfortable to you in a seat. We are going to stretch out the neck. Love neck stretch. Take the right hand, grasp under the right thigh, relax the left hand wherever you want. Sit up nice and tall and drop your left ear to left shoulder. Feel the stretch down that right side of the neck. Take some deep breaths. And just let it go. If you're enjoying working on sort of that mental connection that we were working on at the beginning, I encourage you now to just check back in with yourself. Just notice what's changed physically, what's changed mentally, how are you feeling? How'd you do with your focus? Did you get out of class what you were hoping to? Let's take our time switching over to the other side, hooking the left hand under the left thigh, sitting up tall and dropping over your right shoulder. How's the body? What feels good? And just being grateful for our bodies, for our health, for the time that we had to do these stretches. Release the left hand. We'll just take one more nice deep breath in. Breathe in through the nose, sit up tall, lift the shoulders, and out through the mouth, let it go. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Clarissa. Those are some of my most favorite stretches, the ones that I think that almost everybody could benefit from. I hope you feel amazing. That's all for tonight. This was Movewell Mobility. I am a trainer at Revivewell Training Studio, and we're so grateful that you joined us. For more information on living a healthy life and fitness tips, healthy eating tips, more mindfulness tips, check out our Instagram, which is Revivewell Training. See you next time.